Hey, y'all, we back. We got Chief in the building, y'all. We got a couple updates for you. Hey, this is going to be another one. You know, every time me and Chief do it, it's always a banger. And it's pretty much an update on the land. We're going to bring a lot of stuff to you, crack a lot of codes. We pretty much closing them out. We finishing them off. This is the end, you know, they whole system, man. You know, the what we've been waiting on the whole time. And we brought Chief on to go over some of these slides, and it's gonna be fire, man. You want to say something, Chief, before we get cracking?
Welcome to the Great Awakening, where everything that you thought it wasn't what you thought you saw. You seen what you thought you saw, but what you saw, what you was looking at. Mm-hmm. Your vision was obscured by misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, and false information. It was a psychological warfare to erase your mind so that once your mind erased, they can take your soul. But can't nobody take your soul because the oversoul got the monopoly on the soul deeds. So when they try to take your soul, they can only take what you surrender. So they bind you by contract. And the contract is the fraud, which is the deal with the devil. The devil is the enemy. The enemy is the ones who came to replace us on our own land. Like we wasn't going to wake up to realize that we was already here. With that being said, we about to get into these videos. Roll the coin, young elder. Let's get it in, baby.
Let's roll that first one, then we'll get to the first.
Listen up, people.
With the Cesta QV. First of all, we have a PCT, Public Charitable Trust, an umbrella. There's 337 million little CQVs, Cesta QV trusts, one for each of us, right? In this country.
Say that one more time. CQV.
Every individual in the United States and in most countries of the world have a Cesta QV trust. And we have this CQV. And here's what happens, and this is incredibly important. You all know basic accounting? What is that? It's a balance sheet, right? A balance sheet. It's got debits and credits. You guys have been thinking you're the debtor. They keep telling us that, right? We're in debt. We're a debtor. We owe money on credit cards. We owe money on our houses. We owe money on everything. What happens at birth, though, and I'm just going to use the figures from 75 to now because it's round numbers. We were bonded for $1 million. What does that mean? That means the bank went to the International Monetary Fund, and the bank, on behalf of the public, under your CUSIP number, borrowed from the International Monetary Fund $1 million in ones, fives, tens, 20s, 50s, hundreds, and they threw it out there into the general public. They distributed that $1 million to the bank for every person who's born. That's what they do. On the credit side, $1 million worth of United States Treasury bonds are issued, and they're sold. They're hypothecated. They are bundled, and they're sold on the stock exchange. And if we wanted to, I could pull up a website if we had internet access, and I could put in one of your CUSIP numbers, and I could show you the companies that are buying and selling you today. You have more than one CUSIP number, by the way. As we increase in value, I'll just put it that way, as we get better in our life, the more we join the military or get more college degrees, we get more and more CUSIP numbers. You are the credit. You are the creditor. They're making you believe you're also the debtor, and you are. You're both. This is your vessel. This is you. Okay? This is your labor. This is your worth. I got 5 college degrees. Every time I got an advanced degree in college, I got a new CUSIP number. So in the military, I got a new CUSIP number. All these CUSIP numbers are attached to my main birth number. Okay? This isn't a bad spot. Anyway, let's stop here. It's a balance sheet, right? It's balanced. It's got $1 million on one side, $1 million on the other. This gets invested. It keeps growing and growing and growing. And let's just say it grows to $100 million. And by the way, that figure is low. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Really? I've seen individuals worth $35 billion or more that didn't know they had a dime. Okay, it keeps growing and growing and growing. Our first 18 years of life, We're not spending anything. So nothing is going over here, our first 18 years. That's growing and growing and growing for 18 years, and it's being hypothecated and traded. They've done a good job of managing it. They really have. First 18 years, it's growing and growing and growing. You're not spending anything. You're not adding anything to the debit side. Then you go get a job and you get married and you go out and you buy a house. I'm just going to use numbers. The numbers themselves don't matter. It's the concept, okay? You buy a car or two. You buy some utilities or two over your lifetime, some medical bills, some food, whatever. They keep track of it all through your tax returns, your credit card, your bank statements. Banking is all tied into the IMF, the Federal Reserve. We got a big buildings of bean counters called the Department of Fiscal Services, and those accountants just keep track of everything, everybody's life. And this all starts to add up on the debit side. And this just keeps growing and growing and growing on the investment side. At some point in time, you die, and it goes through probate. They take some of this, and let's just say over your lifetime you spent, I'm going to round it off to $10 million. So they subtract $10 million out of your investment, and they pay off all this, and it becomes a zero balance. They even pay back the initial loan to the International Monetary Fund, plus interest. That was a loan from a foreign entity, by the way, to the Public Charitable Trust. And they pay it back. The balance is zero. Now this has, let's just say for this discussion, has $90 million left in it. What happens to it? The Sesta QV Trust lives on in perpetuity forever.
So it keeps going.
Everyone who has ever died since 1933 is currently funding government. This money gets reinvested. They can't take this, but the balance must stay the same forever. But if it keeps earning, they just sweep it off the top, and it funds government. It's called off-book funds. In the states, it's GSA, and in the federal government, it's CQV. And it continues to fund government. Why do you think they don't care if they spend $3 trillion on foreign entities?
Because it's not their money.
It came out of your trusts. It's not part of taxes. In fact, if you took the entire federal budget, how much is derived from taxes and tariffs?
Wow.
If you call up the Department of Fiscal Services and you send a FOIA request, and you ask them, who is the largest contributor to the federal budget? The Department of Justice, to the tune of $1 trillion a day, is taken out of our Sesta QV trusts or our court systems every day. $1 trillion. That's more in 25 days than our entire gross domestic product in a year. In 25 days. They don't have to disclose the CQV. See, I had to prove this in federal court to get to talk about it. So, a big portion of this comes out of this before we die. Every time you have a court case, the case is a CUSIP number, the case number. The court clerk is the banker.
Right. All right, Rod. So from that, that's a lot of stuff he said. I got a lot of stuff written down here. You went over this last tape where you was talking about they marked us all for dead and then locked us into this matrix where we don't really got no money. And so they locked us in the trust when they marked us for dead. Civitas Mortis is what it's called, right? Civitas Mortis.
Yeah.
I think that's how you say it. Okay, yeah. So, but that ties into the QV trust, what you were saying, right? Of how they got us labeled as dead, and then they acting as trustees because we are mentally dead. But this is part of the Great Awakening. Could you go in on that? You went in on the last tape a little bit about the stuff. Could you go in on it again on that, tying into this?
Can you access real quick the SESQE Trust receipt from the last show?
Right. Yeah, I can. I got you. Hold up. Let me do it.
So when they came over here, remember the Louisiana Purchase, Lewis and Clark had to survey the land. They had to come back to DC and report the status of the royalty of the land. This is how they established the protectorate right turned into a salvage operation to expand from the Port of Nola all across the Louisiana territory and violate the treaty that they had signed as a protectorate agreement for the tribes from the Appalachians to the Rocky Mountains was not supposed to be bothered. They wasn't supposed to cross the Appalachians and move westward, but they did. So when they declared all of the royalty gone, now they have to claim the royal asset by drawing up a trust. And when they drew up the trust, they had to have a foundation in which the trust would be administrated through. So the guy in the reel told you where they was going through all of this paperwork at. Remember, I've been telling you they know who we all are since birth. They've been keeping track of everything we do. He just told you how they do it. Right here, the Sesquive Act of 1666 was enacted in 1666, although it received royal assent on February the 8th, 1667. That means that it was given to the lead. In this case, it was given to either the King of England or the Pope to approve as a royal document. That's why I say the royal received royal assent. That means it was recognized by somebody in a royal capacity. It say the act addressed the legal challenges of proving the death of people who had disappeared. The only people on earth that disappeared through paper genocide is us.
That's right.
And we still here, especially after events like the Great Plague and Great Fire of London in 1665 and 1666. Now notice they mention in the Great Fire of London and the Great Plague of Europe, right? Because this is when they parents start dying off and orphans begin to accumulate. Right. It say it allowed for a legal declaration of death, right? The classification of death for those who had been missing for 7 years to resolve issues related to their property and inheritance. Now, all of what we are under right now is the European control of the British Empire. But it's an expansion of the Vatican, which is a continuation of Rome, which was a continuation of Babylon. Right? So even though they right here, initially they talking about Europe, because this is where it's being developed at, in Europe. But once they establish a measure by which to catalog the royalties of other lands that's acquired by the crown, in order for the crown to be able to use the asset as a collateral to borrow and lend fiat, promissory notes, right? Once they are able to do this, now they only have to do is convince the people to participate in the system established.
That's right,
We
bro.
know there's a Social Security Act, the Internal Revenue Act, the Birth Certificate Act, which initiated the need for birth certificates, because we used to keep it in the family book that looked like the Bible. And then after a while, we started putting it in the Bible. Right? This was our family book of life. Every family had one. So this told you who your relatives was, what they did, where they came from, how often they stopped at Big Mama house. All that stuff was in there. You know, we visit Big Mama house, we leave her a little love note in the family book. Hey, Big Mama, thanks for Thanks for the fried chicken and cornbread. Thanks for the corn. Right? Love you. And leave it in the book because it tells you who's active in the family and who not.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they established these systems and made it law, the law is all traced back under admiralty because they all use admiralty flags in the judiciary. The Bar Association is under the command of England because the first charter that initially created the bar members was initiated by King George in Savannah, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We went over that in prior classes and actually showed some of the documents. In that document, they told them to use the legal means to take everything we got. This is when they developed the death pledge called a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
The mortgage is another run around the sharecropping agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't take you, if it take you 4.5 to 6 years to pay off a $60,000 car, why do it take you 40 years to pay off an $80,000 house?
Mm-hmm.
It don't make sense. Why don't I get a car loan instead of buying a car, I go buy a house?
Mm-hmm.
You see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So they use home ownership, which you don't never own, because if you owned it, they wouldn't be able to tax it.
Yeah, you're a tenant. Yep. They got you listed as a tenant.
Even on your deed, deed to property, most of the deeds classify you as tenant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all mortgages classify you as tenant.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And a lot of the tax rolls identify you as tenant. Some of them might say owner, but you ain't no owner if you're paying taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You're a renter. You just renting from the what they call the municipality.
Yeah, ward. You're a ward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they telling you it's okay for you to live there, but you got to give us this amount of money every month after you done paid for the whole house, paid in full. They tell you it's for services, but you still got to pay utilities. What services is it for? Because road services and city tax. So why is it tax on my property? Right? The property tax is because they don't have the right to own the land, so they can't sell the land.
Right.
All they can do is what they can entertain squatter rights. So everybody that went through the mortgage system went through a sharecropping system to become a squatter.
Right.
And paid to be a squatter on the land. The only people that ain't supposed to pay taxes is the women. Property taxes on the land. And the women from the land.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they are the ones that's the first heirs to the land. And this is why they don't want the matriarchy to rise, because it put the proper heirs in charge of the asset, which means they cash in the SESQEV trust.
Mm-hmm.
And all the money they were squandering in your name, you will now have access to it. But it's going to be some hoops to jump to get it. Because if you just make everybody rich overnight, ain't nobody going to do shit tomorrow. Won't be nobody at work, they find out they got $30 million. Who going to work? 80 to 90% of the people, if they had that kind of money, would not go to a job tomorrow. There's only a handful of them with impeccable work ethic and that really love their job that's going to show up. Everybody else going to be like, man, F that job.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All I needed was just a leg up so I could quit.
Right.
You walk around, find out you were the heir to Brewster's Millions.
Right. Right. Right.
You ain't going to work. You hit the lotto mega million for $386 million. You ain't going to work.
Right.
You go to Vegas, hit the slots for $5 million. You're not going back to work.
Right.
Your whole life gonna change.
Right.
But if you don't know how to manage money, you'll be broke in a year.
Right.
Whether they give you 40,000 or 40 million, it won't matter. If you don't know how to manage money, the more you got, the faster it leak.
Right.
And you don't know how to patch up the holes. So all that ties back into how they use the system to steal our wealth in our face behind our back.
Right.
Right? They sit here moving all this gold around the world that belong to us
Right.
in our face. Right? They sipping off oil from over here under the pretense of military use, selling it on the black market because they're not supposed to sell our oil.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why the majority of the oil pumped in America is reserved for military use only.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only time we supposed to be able to allow the policing force on the land to use the oil is to defend the land.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they've been starting wars all over the world. Because if we don't need them to defend the land, we can do it ourselves. We don't need them.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't need them, then we asking for our shit back. We ain't asking. We told you we coming to get it, and you can't stop us because you gonna have no say in this. Don't belong to you. So all of the ones that wanted to usurp us, nope, we know who we is, and we back for everything they owe. And it just so happened they owe us everything, including the SQV trust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, so my next question for you, Rod, tied into all that, because I'm actually gonna do a whole breakdown, AI breakdown on this trust, to get more into it, for the people extra. But this is a couple of questions that people ask, since we on this topic of the money and them robbing us and all that. Now, unemployed. First, let's talk about the snaps. All right, so we pretty much finna go to a new whole month of the government being shut down. And now a whole bunch of rumors is going around about people doing raiding stores and people panicking, like how I'm gonna feed my kids, what I'm gonna do for Thanksgiving, this and that. So what is your story or take for those guys? Is the government gonna open back up? Is emergency funds? What is going on with the snaps, brother? Go ahead.
Listen, man.
Go ahead.
That shit was never permanent to begin with, never intended to last as long as it did.
Go ahead, bro.
Right?
Yeah.
What we need to be doing is trying to figure out if they do stop it, what do we do next? Who's farming good that's willing to pass some of that stuff out to the people that need the benefit?
Right.
Then they got other government programs too that they're gonna be steering people toward that pass out food.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that the programs exist. It go back to, remember when Ronald Reagan opened up Focus Hope? Focus Hope was a rebrand of a Black Panther food program.
That's right. Stealing. I remember that.
Right. The Black Panthers was doing it in the 60s and the 70s. The government shut them down and they turned around and gave us Focus Hope. Focus Hope was established when they were saying that there's such and such amount of people in America that's starving. Ronald Reagan couldn't understand it because he's aware of what we call government surplus food. Government surplus food is always on reserve because of situations like what's about to happen. A lot of people gonna remember, I told y'all before, they're gonna raid the grocery stores, and grocery stores is gonna be over with. It's gonna be the end of grocery stores. Okay, then that means that you're gonna have to be tied to somebody that has a family farm. Acres, not no 20, 30 acres, hundreds of acres. And you got to be willing to do what they need you to do in order to make sure that you can be able to eat. Sometimes you might have to come out and help at harvest time. But if you think that we're going to stay under this fake money system, that's not going to happen.
I'm telling you.
So So the SNAP benefit is just another sign of the fall of the corporate government because it was credits, the same as they give you credits in the joint for working that they paying you to work $1 a day. $1 a day can't feed my cat, and I don't even have a cat.
Right.
So and I know it ain't gonna feed my dog.
No.
One can cost $1, $2 actually. So you feed a dog on $1 a day. So what you supposed to do making $1 a day? Figure it out. If you get a high-paying prison job, you might get $5 a day. If you got a high-paying prison job.
Damn.
Why do you think prisons is so profitable? Slave labor. Remember, 14th Amendment say involuntary servitude can only be inflicted upon those duly convicted of a felony. Why did they put that in there?
Modern day slavery.
Because once you get convicted of a felony, you no longer have human rights.
Right.
Human rights don't apply to you. Civil rights don't apply to you. You under the slave codes. And if they didn't tell them how to treat a slave, you got inmates that's been fighting for years about cruel and unusual punishment conditions in prison, and they telling the truth, and the courts don't want to hear it. You got convicted of a crime, you live how you live, mother. We gonna put you where we put you. Every other country around the world have a better system to deal with criminality than this system that we using now. And we refuse to accept any other system than the one we have now because we got too much free labor.
Yeah.
Slavery is the heartbeat of America, and most people don't know they slaves, even if they making $40 an hour.
Damn.
Even if they sign to the NBA, NFL, they are slaves.
Young Dog put a CD out called Rich Slave. Rich Slave. That's cold right there.
Somebody wrote a book called $100 Million Slave about the athletes.
Wow.
See, they got so many restrictions in their contract that they got to abide by in order to get the money that they so hardly work for.
Mm-hmm.
Why can they pay a basketball player a $80 million contract for a 3-year deal? How can they pay 5 different players on the team similar contracts?
Right.
And they can't afford to pay teachers better.
Right.
They can't afford to pay EMS better.
Damn, bro, you talking?
They deserve it. Right? Just as much as the athletes, but the value of the entertainment industry surpasses the value of those critical services industries like education and medicine. First responders. I don't care about funding the police, but we can do more for the fire department.
That's right.
Fire department ain't got a history of screwing us over. I never heard of After Fire Department song yet.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they gonna run in the burning building to save my cat, they should at least be compensated for it.
Right.
Properly compensated, not, you have a lot of these major corporations doing profit sharing with the company employees, right?
Right.
But they don't want to give them all of the benefits they deserve. They fight them tooth and nail for any concessions to the worker. The company don't want to give them nothing.
Right.
And if they negotiating committee not strong, the company gonna take stuff from them and force them to make concessions. Then they're gonna lose the chess game. when you got a third party arguing for what you already know, like the people that work on the factory floors know the dangers of the factory better than the people they hire to negotiate their contracts. Why are you hiring these goofies?
But
If you know that if this machine don't get these parts, this cover put on it, somebody gonna die in there, and you trying to tell these fools and they don't want to hear it because they don't even know what the factory floor look like,
yeah,
they shouldn't even be negotiating your terms and conditions. They have no vested interest.
right.
Their vested interest is in their personal gain. When you look at the company have the resource to give excessive amounts of bribe money to the third party that the unionized workforce, if they understood what was going on, would be able to match. But they can't match it because they don't know this secret squirrel crap going on behind the scenes where they passing envelopes with hundreds and hundreds of dollars in them under the table. They giving people duffel bags full of money under the table.
Mm-hmm.
Just give us this concession this time. In the auto industry, where I came from, when I left because I was trying to warn my coworkers of they being investigated for taking bribes. You can go look this up. We negotiating a contract with people doing the negotiations under criminal investigation.
Man.
How in the hell, where is their appearance of propriety? That's not coming to the table in good faith. And if they was taking the bribes, who was the bribes benefiting, the company or the worker? The worker wasn't giving them the bribes, so they couldn't have been receiving the proper benefit. So how many concessions was made in this manner over the years that caused the worker to lose out? Hundreds of dollars an hour in wage increases over the years.
Yeah, that's facts.
Right? Minimum wage has outstripped the wage of upper middle class auto workers.
That was the plan too.
When the minimum wage was $1 something an hour, auto workers had negotiated a $20 an hour cap on their contracts. Auto workers is still, the average auto worker is under $30 an hour. The minimum wage is all the way up to like $12 an hour now.
Damn.
The inflation increase and the wage increase from those at the top and at the bottom of the middle and lower class, the bottom is catching up to the top too fast, when it should be the other way around. If you want to keep these people properly paid, then minimum wage should be a minimum percentage of the highest paid worker in the company.
Right. That makes sense.
So if you come in to GM and the CEO making $65 million a year plus benefits, hell, you ought to be making about $60 to $80 an hour.
Damn sure do.
Nope, they don't do it like that. Even with the benefit of profit sharing, you still don't come out to more than about $35 to $40 an hour.
Damn.
They getting gypped, right? The auto workers could have got anything they wanted if they knew when to ask at the right time. They should be making in let's say GM, the one I work for. I think that they max out hourly wage, max out at like $40-something an hour. wage max out because the way you get your raises is that you get incremental raises over time, right? And right now, the people at the highest pay scale, they should be getting about $60 to $75 an hour compared to the people with less seniority. They not. Then when people get hurt on the job, you got to fight too hard to get workers' comp. They know you got hurt on the job. They sent you to the hospital. And they want to give you all these hoops to jump through. And then they, put delays on the pay to make you suffer while you off suffering. That's called compound suffering, right? So at that point, you should be able to get the company should provide you an Aflac card because Aflac gonna pay your bills for you while they waiting to determine if they gonna give you workers' comp or not, right? That's to offset the lost wages while you waiting and unable to pay for your lifestyle. Now we going under the new system though. Ain't gonna be no credit system. So insurance gonna be did different. And most people are gonna be in charge of their own labor insurance, health insurance, and other related insurances. But because when you find out how the insurance companies create insurance started with us. Most of us don't know it, but the policies was to pay the insurance policies off for the ones of us who deceased. They became known as the numbers.
Right.
So the way it used to work is if enough people spending a penny, right, on the policy, the number got a number that's in the policy you paying. Right? So you match the number up to the policy, you know when the payout come, who get what. Right? So the policy was how we, kept our wealth among the tribes. They took it and turned it into the Super Lotto, Mega Millions, Lotto, lottery numbers, making billions of dollars a year, and they supposed to use a sizable portion of it for education, but the education department ain't seeing it in the sheer amount of money that they raking in versus what they paying them, what the payout is. They use the pretense of funding education to get it passed into law by the general public.
Damn.
Because they knew that if it wasn't the way for us to benefit from it, why would we vote for that? But what we didn't know. So we always got to bring the part we didn't know of. The reason all you did was took poker out of the casino where they can play poker digitally and make the payout remotely. That's all the lottery is. We used to use horse races to determine the trifecta, the 3 digits, right? That was called the number runners or the running numbers. It's the horses. And that's how it became number running.
That's right.
Because they was putting numbers on the horses that was running the race. With the marathon continues. Right? And that's another thing. Remember, did we talk about Pope, the new Pope, getting the white horse?
No.
So everybody was like, oh, look, the pale white horse. In the book of Revelations, where you get this concept from, the pale horse and the white horse is not the same horse. The pale horse is not white. It's like a grayish color, right? Now, a frame of reference to understand what I'm talking about, the white horse is actually white. But the pale horse, if you go to the Clint Eastwood Pale Rider, you'll see what a pale horse looked like. And he was supposed to represent the death that rode on the pale horse in the movie, but he was a priest. No coincidences here.
Damn.
He was supposed to be the death that rode on the pale horse, but he was a priest. and a gunslinger.
Hmm.
So they telling you without telling you. The white horse, on the other hand, right? When you see Nipsey Hussle and Lauren London take a picture with the white horse.
Mm-hmm.
In the book of Revelations, it say the white horse was the conqueror and was given the power to conquer. And he went about conquering and to conquer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it's just like them chickens come home to roost, the horse returns to the stable. Most people don't know this. That's why cowboys notorious for getting drunk and a horse got to ride them home.
That's right. Horse do that too.
Right? If you ain't from the South, you don't even know what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, my daddy horse just do that for him.
They talking about drunk driving. That's why they banned horses everywhere, because it wouldn't be no such thing as drunk driving, because the dude going out to drink, he wouldn't take his BMW. He'd take his horse so he could get sloppy drunk, get on his horse, and his horse going to take him home.
Mm-hmm. And it ain't against the law. In some states, you can ride a horse and get drunk. In some states.
Yeah. Yep. That's most of those are southern states, though. Yep. In the north, they got all of these new road regulations restricting horse and carriage movement. They can't do it in places where the Amish live. Because it would infringe on their constitutional right to stay to themselves. Right. So they won't do it in those places, but in places where ain't no Amish, oh yeah. And where they got cities like, you're not finna just be riding a horse on the side of the road.
Right.
Right. They had a dude, it's a video somebody sent me last week. Guy was riding his horse home, to work. And the police stopped him and swerved at the horse, right? When man got done with him, the police had to apologize to him. And he said something about, he wanted him to get a ticket for animal cruelty. Now, I don't know if they wrote the ticket, but the guy that was riding the horse knew the laws of the area he was in well enough to know he could ride his horse to work. Most of us don't know it in the area we in, because you have firm restrictions in inner cities. That's to stop you from growing food in your front yard and raising animals in your backyard.
I just said. Hey, Rod, I got one more question before we go to the next slide. Kind of like went over, like touched on it a little bit, but some people said, they said, ask this. Now, some people, a lot of people getting laid off, man. I think it's Amazon laid off a certain amount of people, 30,000 people. UPS laid off a whole bunch of guys. So a lot of guys getting a lot of jobs laying off now. Some people saying that they replacing them with AI robots, right? But they making it hard for these people to get unemployment. And they say, I've been working 15 years, never took a day off, this and that. And now y'all laying me off and I'm going to get in unemployment and y'all saying that y'all can't give it to me. They don't even want to give. So what are your take on the unemployment situation, or how they rejecting specifically? It seems like it's a lot of Nubians that's getting rejected from unemployment after they got laid off at these places.
Unemployment is labor insurance. It's insurance that pays you. You pay the premium in it out of your state and local taxes. It's the premium come out. But the problem is there's a veto right goes to the company you work for. They can veto your unemployment.
Yeah,
Okay, if they veto your unemployment, now you got to have a hearing. Remember earlier I was saying like you have to jump through all these hoops to get workers' comp.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with unemployment. And the union, a good solid union, and this is what I love about the workers' union and the UAW. When we got mass laid off in 2010, 2010, 2008, whatever it was, when we got the mass layoff, they helped us all by doing a mass unemployment for all of the employments by using the company's number. And because we have this union, these people that understand how unemployment work, where you had other workers that was third party in the same plant, they don't have our representation. First of all, they weren't supposed to be there as third parties. They supposed to came in under UAW. But the company paid somebody to make it okay for them to bring in non-unionized local workers. They can be unionized where they at, but they can bring them in like temps, right, to work in the factories that unionized workforce. First of all, the OGs who fought in Flint wouldn't in 8 Beams, they not finna let you bring in no third party, because the union can do catering for lunches. But guess who? They got an outside caterer to come in and overcharge us for lunches. See, so the union that we have now don't understand why the unions from old fought so hard for all of the benefits that they fought for, and why they knew not to give the concessions to the company. Because the company is the same as the colonizer. You give them an inch and they want the whole cake. They gonna try everything they can and fight you for the last crumb. Right. So we still have to deal with the unemployment agencies. But if you don't have a solid foundation to deal with them on, plus they're going to be swamped. And that's going to slow down the unemployment automatically. Now, unemployment is state by state. It's not national. So the states that had the highest unemployment rate is going to have the most difficult time paying out unemployment payments. When they be issuing how much people is unemployed, they're not talking about people in the country. They're talking about how many people that's been working either are not working or are brought back to work. When they start talking about new jobs, they might create new jobs, but they're not counting the job. They counting the new workers that's entering into the job force for the first time. Your teenagers. Right? So when they say we got this many new jobs, yeah, that's because y'all opened up 10 more McDonald's and hired all of these kids. So you can pay them minimum wage.
Yeah. Damn.
That's why they cut chefs out at McDonald's. That was part of the cost-cutting original model, was to take out the chef. They don't need a chef.
Wow.
Because everything is standardized. Because it's standardized, they're able to put it off like an assembly line production. Bro, come on now.
The Great Awakening
as more and more people awaken, more and more darkness is going to be revealed. But then that also prompts the light to take over. And then that is how we end up moving closer toward world peace and then cosmic peace. Because when our world becomes peaceful, the entire cosmos becomes more peaceful. We are interconnected with the ET races who are custodians of our planet. They're waiting for us to jump our consciousness into 5D so they can move into 6D. We're all connected together. So world peace is cosmic peace. All the beings want this to happen. It's going to happen. It's written in destiny. They've viewed the future timelines. It's just which timeline are we going to take to get there? It's already a given that a peaceful 5D future is ahead of us. It's just now we are heading toward that direction. We're already on the train. People are trying to jump off the train because they don't get it.
The mass awakening is here. The split is happening literally right now. On one side, we have the awakened souls rising into light, and on the other, we have lost souls that are clinging to the old world, to religion, to government, to validation, to rules that were never rooted in universal truth. And that's perfectly okay, because not every soul came to awaken. Some came to experience powerlessness, what it's like to truly be immersed in the matrix. Now, all of this darkness that we are seeing right now, it's not a mistake. Bashar calls this the rubber band effect. The deeper we get pulled into darkness, the faster we will slingshot into light when we finally let go. That's why right now you see that everything looks very chaotic, because the band is stretched to its limit, but the release is going to literally be glorious. Pluto in Aquarius is exposing the matrix like never before right now. We are seeing the prisons we didn't even know we were living in, the systems we unconsciously praised, the false idols, the leaders who fed off division. All of it is coming to the surface so we can finally face it. And even Charlie Kirk's death became a mirror. It's revealed where people stand mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It showed us who is aligned with truth and who is still lost in illusion. This is what the split looks like. People showing their frequency. And the truth is that we are living in overlapping parallel Earths right now. There's low vibrations, there's the ones in between, and there's high vibrations. The split is widening, and at one point we won't even see each other anymore, because the vibrations will be so different. It will be like existing in completely different worlds. And whether that full separation happens in our lifetime or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is that right now we're in the demolition phase. The house is being torn down. We have to see the rot, the shadows, the corruption, so we can rebuild something that becomes unshakable. And the rebuilding starts with you, with me, with us raising our vibration, transcending our shadows, anchoring our light. Every time you choose love over fear, truth over illusion, power over victimhood, you add weight to the scale, and eventually it will tip. So all this darkness and chaos that's going on right now, it's not about fearing the darkness. Don't resent the demolition that is happening right now. See it for what it is, the clearing of space for us to build the new earth. The light is inevitable. Be it, anchor it. Live as if the new earth is already here, because in truth it is. Join us in the Awakening Inner Circle if you're done walking your awakening journey alone, if you're craving clarity, if you're ready to release heaviness and feel lighter, and if you want
Almost the entire world population is about to have an awakening like we have never had before on October 30th, all the way to November 1st. Everything going on astrologically right now, and then also with a very special friend of ours up in the sky, 3i Atlas, will be bringing upon a awakening like you have never seen before. The Schumann resonance has been off the charts, gearing up for this energy, and the Earth's frequency will be at an all-time high. Unless someone tries to mess with it and block everyone from that, which, hey, stranger things has happened. No pun intended that show is about to be coming out really soon. But just be prepared. From the 30th to the 1st, you are going to be feeling and thinking differently than you ever have before. The synchronicities are going to be freaking wild. I remember talking, life is going to be straight up like Mr. Anderson. If you know, you freaking know. Y'all are freaking awesome. If you want any guidance at all.
Do y'all really believe that the elite didn't know that this great awakening was going to happen? For centuries, they've literally studied human consciousness, astrology, human behavior, how we respond to things, and cycles that the human race goes through. They knew the shift was coming, and they prepared for it. They gave us endless entertainment. There's all sorts of social media traps. It's just a pit of things to keep us asleep. But no matter how much they prepared, there's no stopping what's already written. And I've never been more excited to be awake and alive and a part of something so much bigger than each one of us individually. It feels good. If you're watching this video, you're probably part of it. And I love you very much. Have a great
8 crazy facts the government doesn't want you to know.
All right, we'll roll like one or two more later. We ain't got that long, but all right, because you talked about the Schumann resonance hitting the planet, and that's part of the Great Awakening, the speeding of the because it feel like, man, this month went by fast. Like it feel like it was just the first, now it's already over. So like boom, it feel like it was only 5 days in this month. That's how I feel like it went. You know? It feel like it was only 5 days in this month. It feel like it was just the first. Now it's over. You know what I'm saying? We already in November. That's how I feel like it went. You know what I'm saying? It feel like it was only 5 days in this month. It feel like it was just the first. You know what I'm saying? We already in November. So the last guy. That's why I had it in there about the Schumann resonance and the separation of the people that's still asleep, because there's some people still asleep. Like I got some kin people, man. They when you tell them stuff like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna get the jab," but I'm going out to get it because Bill Gates said Bill Gates said to go get it. He the smartest guy in the world. You know, it was a pregnant lady and my cousin, and they argued me down about the jab. We can't say, we got to keep it, but the jab, they argued me down about the jab. And they said that we're going to get it because Bill Gates said go get it, and he the smartest guy in the world. You know what I'm saying? So some people are still asleep. So the Schumann resonance and the separation of the bots versus the people that's awoke. Could you go in on that?
So first off, everybody not gonna wake up. They're not supposed to.
Okay.
The only ones that's supposed to wake up is the ones that's supposed to be part of the new earth. The ones who don't wake up, some of them is gonna phase out of existence, and you're gonna forget they was ever here.
I can see that.
And then you got other ones who are considered the chaff. Somebody coming to get them, and it ain't me. They don't belong here, so they can't wake up. Some of them might be your family members that you dearly care about. You're not going to stop them from going with the people that's coming to get them, because they will fuck you up about trying to stop them.
Damn.
Literally. Right? So you have to prepare yourself that you might see anything. No matter how crazy it might sound, you might see anything on the flip. Because when it flipped, stuff just started moving randomly in different places. It's just like if you suddenly shift the room that you in, stuff gonna fall off the table, right? But it's gonna happen in a metaphorical sense. Spiritual to physical, physical to spiritual. People gonna be seeing what they call spirits or ghosts, right? And they're gonna be like, I thought that stuff was fake. Timelines will be bleeding into this one, and your ghost is bleeding in from the nearest timeline to you. They really not in your timeline.
Right.
They just bleed. The imagery is bleeding through. And some of the empaths' empathy is so strong that they can actually communicate with them like they standing right here.
Yeah.
All that's part of the awakening. The Schumann resonance was what you asked me about. Ain't really. We talked about the solar flare that's going to trigger the Schumann resonance to alter the DNA. The sun, the scientists have been warning us that the sun is on the verge of a major solar flare. And they've been letting off some pretty hefty winds. And they say that when the big solar flare comes, those are going to pale in comparison. So we've been feeling it. It's just going to intensify.
Hey, Rod, speaking of mass awareness, and I saw this the short where this guy was explaining the energy that they collect at football stadiums, the way they built in a bowl, and how people sit there and stare and shoot energy towards the players, right? And then I saw another clip where the dude Alex Collier, the dude that talk about the Andromedans all the time, he said that there is one dude that they brought on stage, and then he told him to hold his arms out, right? And then he tried to push him down, and then he couldn't push him. He said, "Well, stop me from pushing your arms down." and he couldn't push the dude arms down. And then he turned to the crowd. It was about like 300 people in the crowd, and he said, "I want all of y'all in the crowd to think on one mind. And I want y'all to think and focus on this dude on the stage and think that he weak and that he can't stop me from pushing his arms down." And then so the dude put his arms up and did the same method, but he couldn't stop Alex Collier from pushing his arms down because everybody in the audience was focused on he weak. So could you go in on the collective mass awareness of everybody having the same type of mindset, like being that everybody's a lot of people are coming online about this elite, the dark, all these dark energies that been moving. Everybody's coming online about it. How does that affect them? Being that we are aware of their dirty, dark back, whatever all the stuff that they do.
Well, one thing, our awareness is our psychic self-defense at the beginning.
Okay, fire.
Right. Soon as you become aware that somebody is trying to do dirt to you, you can defend yourself.
Go ahead.
When somebody exposed the spells that's been placed on you, your spirit body begin to put things into motion to break you from under that spell. That's why we explain to you Kingu, Amen, and the George Washington Challenge in so much detail, hammering it home so hard because those were the main spells that was keeping us from the Great Awakening. Right? So that means somebody was actively interfering with our awakening process that we normally go through in cycles, but somebody didn't want us to wake up this time.
We got about you gotta get up out of here like by 9:45, 9:50. So we got about 13 minutes. I guess we'll take about 2 questions from the crowd. I got one more question for you. Somebody asked about mass awareness, the Schumann resonance. We already asked about all that, so pretty much like we got to cover. Oh yeah, insurance. So man, I feel like we've been getting frauded, like car insurance, all this insurance. They charge us like, oh, I'm paying $300 a month and I don't even get in a wreck, and then it's like for not even for full coverage. You know what I'm saying? So like the insurance companies with their fraud, I believe a lot of insurance companies commit fraud, man. Like it's a fraud. There's a lot of people coming out about it now since like like this new awakening. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, but do you know what the fraud is with the insurance company?
What is the fraud? Because I heard a lot of perspectives, but what you got on it?
When you open an insurance policy, you opening a what we call a whole life savings account, and from that savings account, they buy what they call investment bonds that mature on average every 20 years. Every time you get a new insurance policy, it's tied to the first one you ever opened. And so let's say you went through, I just started going over this with my brother, trying to want this come back up.
Wow.
When you pay in insurance to, let's say you start off using Geico. This is your first insurance policy ever. They open up this account. Right, it's a investment account, and it's made in your name using your social security number, and it's escrow. When you say escrow, you mean that it's for a period of time and for an allotted purpose, right? Until it meet the maximum amount that it was intended to meet, like a savings bond, it don't pay out. Now, you go from Geico, you open another insurance policy with Prudential because you got a better rate deal. They open up an account, but because you got one open from Geico, that one didn't never close when you discontinue the service. They just stopped collecting the dividend from you, right? The coupon.
Yeah.
When now you're giving your coupon to Prudential.
Damn.
Okay. Now Prudential open up another account. So Geico they can't take the money out of that account unless Prudential take the money out of this account. But now you got tired of their BS, so you go get your insurance through Allstate. Right? Now Allstate open up an account.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah.
Now Prudential can't get their money until Allstate get their money. They can't cash their account in unless Allstate cash in because they got what's called the current holding that triggered the other ones to release.
So everybody's still getting paid, even if you drop.
Everybody's still getting paid but you.
Damn. Boy, that's a robbery like in the mother. Boy.
A lot of time they either open up a 401k or a IRA or Roth IRA, and then they use CDs for dividend investment back into the IRA.
Damn.
So the IRA, let's say it's gonna cap out at $750,000. It's gonna take them about 6 months to make $750,000 off your initial account opening. Because you're gonna have a minimum that they can access, and when you pay your first premium. Right. So let's say your premium gonna be $20 a month. When you pay that first $20, now they automatically access, let's say, $10,000. Now, with that $10,000, they gonna buy interest dividend paying CDs. As they growing and maturing, when they get to a certain amount, they gonna kick out a payment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Over a certain amount of time. Then it's gonna cash in. It's automatic cash in when it matures. And it's gonna go into the IRA that purchased the CDs, the securities. That's they call them securities. Yeah. But where regular people could understand easier, I'm using the same stuff we would use, how they would use it. So the IRA is a retirement account.
Man, this
right.
Robert.
So the account that they open is like a retirement account. Now remember, all this is tied to your trust.
Yeah, the security
your security trust.
Yeah.
Right. And this is how they generating a positive cash flow on your losses.
Damn.
When enough of them are lost, that's called capital gains losses. You had a capital gain off losing a certain amount. A capital gain meaning that, okay, I got this insured through Brooks Brothers.
Uh-huh.
Right? And if it don't pay out, if this many accounts don't pay out, they pay me in my insurance, they pay me the full value of what it was at the time of purchase.
Yeah.
That's how I cover my losses, by turning them into maximum gain losses.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So when you look at, this is what Merrill Lynch doing. Merrill Lynch got stock investments in every stock.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So a sizable portion of stocks is going to always be down at the end of the day. And every day Merrill Lynch is going to say, this is a capital gains cash in, baby. I lost this much on this many stocks. It's a number that they pick. It's like playing the numbers. You know, it's this many companies, I own this much percent, right, through investments. Now, when you go to Merrill Lynch, you tell Merrill Lynch, I want to put my investment in gold. They're not going to let you do it.
Right.
They're going to tell you to invest with a gold investor. Let that sink in. Damn. Now, when the old man Bush go in there, he said, I want to convert all my fiat into gold. And they'll be like, okay, where do you want to deliver? That show you the difference in the levels of respect we get.
Dang. It's cold, bro. Hey, y'all, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, because Chief got to get out of here at 10. Hey, y'all, hey, show him some love on the class. Y'all know how we do it. We keep Chief good. We got his Cash App and PayPal for you if you don't got the Cash App for my people over in London. Shout out London, man. London be looking up. Yeah. So y'all want to show him some love? We got the Cash App and PayPal on the screen. Somebody's shout out that boy Snake for the super chat. Somebody said spontaneous pregnancy and can impregnate women. Demon, I guess.
Yeah, succubus is the sexual harassing spirit. The spontaneous pregnancy is called parthenogenesis. A woman can do it consciously or unconsciously. They used to do it often, not so much no more, because they was told by the system they can't do it. So only like a handful of them has been recorded over the past like couple hundred years, because the women are convinced that they can't spontaneous reproduce. The only reason you can't be impregnated by a succubus is because they have no seminal fluids to give you. They just an energy, a egregore, a thought form that is so dense in people supplying it energy that you can physically feel it. Who are the two knights on Big Mama's side of the chessboard? It depends on which chessboard you're making reference to. So I don't really know how to answer that question and how that's related to what they asking me. So that would have been a conversational question, because I would have countered with other questions to find out more details of what they're trying to find out to give them the most accurate answer. That's kind of vague. That's just like, who the two knights on the chessboard? What chessboard? Who playing chess? I mean,
they saying like the rook. Like we know that one of the rooks is Jeff Fort. Jeff Fort, the rookie. And then I would say Larry's a Big Mama spokesman, the number one spokesman.
Yeah, that's a knight.
Yeah, right.
That's a knight. Knight is a soldier, generally, or a general of a contingent of the royal guard. The Blue House is the palace guard. They guard the inner court, the court guard. Mm-hmm. The Red House, they guard the perimeter guard, the rooks, the towers, the castle. The towers on the chessboard is the rook.
Yeah.
The rook is standing on the L. But the knights move in the L and the rooks move front, back, side to side. Right. So when you're looking at who's been taking all these L's, shit, me and Larry. Right. But all these L's flip to sevens when you find out that I am number 7. Seven kings of Israel. Right. And the final king comes. And it's also the 7 spirits of the Orisha. Right. And the final Orisha comes, the Ogun, to settle the score. And depending on what tradition you in, how it's described. But the energy signature is the same. The one that takes the position of the knight is the one who's in charge of protecting the inner guard, the inner house, the closest ones to Big Mama, and Big Papa. Then you have the outer guard, the ones who govern the whole of the land, the Red House, what we would call in modern times El Rookins. Yep. Stone running mean they supposed to be governing the land as Al Sharif. But when they keep coming over here switching the culture up, now we got cultural schizophrenia. We operating from all the cultures at the same time.
Right. It's a highlight.
Then they told us, the ones of us that naturally was doing what they doing is wrong, and then they turn around and do the exact same shit.
Right.
They stop us from doing it so they can do it.
Yeah.
Right. You used to didn't have to need a physical fishing license. You just go ask the elders of the tribe, can I fish this waterway?
Yeah.
And they'll tell you, you can fish for 7 days, son. Or you can fish for 2 days, son. They gonna tell you. Right? And now somebody come say something to you, I talk to who you talk to. I talk to Big Papa. Where he at? Where you see him at? Right? He tell you, okay, I describe the house. I'm going to describe Big Mama, Big Papa. I'm going to describe Big Papa boat. You're going to know his dog when I tell you the dog name. That was your license.
Right.
You're not out of place on the land. So ain't nobody going to do nothing to you because the people on the land going to be watching you because you knew.
Yeah.
You know, damn fishing license, hunting license. Yeah, what the fuck I look like I need a hunting license? A license to hunt? If I'm finna feed my family, I'm going to shoot that deer.
Right.
I don't care what you say about no license.
Right.
I need a doe tag. When you come to my neighborhood, I don't tell you you need a hoe tag.
They got that bad. They got they license. What I heard somebody say, they wanted to monetize everything that we do.
I've been telling you that. Everything we naturally did, they monetize it. They stop us from doing it and monetize it, and then we need licenses to do it.
Yeah.
Even the holiday hijacked all of our natural celebrations and imposed their interpretations on top of our days.
Right.
Right? Everybody think Thanksgiving is a Christian holiday. Got nothing to do with no Christianity at all, nowhere, at no time.
Thanks.
And the colonizers was invited to Thanksgiving dinner. They wasn't having Thanksgiving dinner. We don't remember that shit because we following the narrative that the colonizers gave us.
Right.
We was already having Thanksgiving dinner when the colonizers was starving.
Yep.
And what you do, Mama said, don't let nobody come in my house and starve to death. It ain't gonna happen.
Right.
Now you feed their ass and send them on back their merry way.
Right. That's fine.
And then what happened on Black Friday? Pequot Massacre. Go look it up. I'm not making it up. So you think about us as a people and how we naturally behave, and then you can see how they was able to massacre like they did. We started off, dinner time was in the high noon. Right?
Yep.
Then you had late dinner. Late dinner was rare. Late dinner was for celebration days like they do the winter solstice, the turkey harvest, and tomorrow is the pumpkin harvest.
Yeah. We out for 8 when the sun was high.
Right.
You know that.
So we ate the late dinner. The late dinner primarily consisted of the turkey because the turkey was the celebrational food for the new chief that was being recognized by Big Mama. This is why turkeys even got anything to do with Thanksgiving, right? But it's something in turkey called tryptophan. If you eat enough tryptophan, it's like taking a sleeping pill, right? Now you got to remember this. We smoke real good weed.
Yeah.
Right? We celebrating, so we smoking normally more weed than we normally smoke, and we drinking more alcohol than we normally drink. Now we singing, swinging, getting merry like Christmas into the wee morning hours, 2, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And slowly we start to go lay our head to rest. By 5 a.m., we all lay down. It's probably one or two people up still talking a little trash at the table. Them what we call them the holdouts. But by 5 a.m., them other people waking up because they done long since passed out before us. Right?
Yeah.
They see us all sleeping. What they do? Start killing us in our sleep. Black Friday.
Black Friday.
And that's what the whole discount, Black Friday discount, it's a discount massacre. Man. They didn't have no casualties, only us. We should have fed them and sent them on their merry way like Big Mama said. Or took them a care package, left them where they was at. When that run out, you on your own, buddy. You either get back home to London, because you will not be living here in Jamestown. It's not going to happen. But we took them in and fed them.
Damn, bro.
One thing led to another. Here we are today, still fighting for the right to be recognized as the rightful heirs of the land. And we thought we was trying to be recognized as being human. Then we was trying to be recognized as being civil. And now we waking up saying, wait a minute, I already had human rights. I had inalienable God-given rights that supersede all your human rights.
Right.
Right. So these are irrevocable rights. Well, I don't have to negotiate these with you, and you come on and do what you got to do, and I'm gonna do what I got to do. It's not a right if you don't exercise.
That's right. Stand for something or fall for anything.
Yeah. You don't got no rights until you exercise. This is why we use these public platforms to teach these classes, because everything that the chief say is notice to agent is notice to principal, and
right.
The time-stamped archival format for public notice to all clans on the tribe with no discrimination or segregation between the collective clans.
Right.
Right. I don't care if you got a little whitewash through the invasion, and I don't care if you stayed chocolate after the invasion. All I care about is we want the invasion to cease and desist. And anybody that's down with it can get the same thing the invaders got.
Right.
Right? I don't care about no African people being over here. They ain't doing nothing to me directly. Right? Just get out our damn way while we get rid of them, the ones we don't want here. We've been associating with Africans long before Europe ever came to life and stepped on the world stage dealing with Africa, and Africa was right next door.
Hey, you know something, bro?
Yeah.
Like, so no, on the African South African apartheid, when the Dutch invaded them, I saw pictures of them. Them Dutch people were blacker than like black.
I've been trying to tell y'all this. This is what people ain't getting.
They did them with black. They were black like this color right here, like blacker than the Africans look. The Africans next to them the Africans look like our color, but these guys, these Dutch that was standing over them while they was digging in the mines, they look this color, like black. The Dutch. So I'm saying the Dutch was dark, like that. They really, like everything you said.
They weren't the only ones. It was only a small group of paleface.
Go ahead.
There was probably only a couple million of them. But most of Europe was populated by Native Europeans, descendants of what they call Cheddar Man. Right? Descendants of Europa, daughter of Isis, whose territory Europe was. So Europe, being named after Europa, she wasn't no pale face. Greece was assigned by the pharaoh to one of the daughters to settle around 400 BC. And this why it was something like 360 something BC that the first university was established in Crete. Then the hordes that came from Chaldea through around the Mediterranean to settle in and with the Etruscans. These was the ones that became Rome and wrote Latin. The Romance languages are the Latin languages, which mean they originate from Rome. The Greek language is not a Romance language. And this is why Russian is the derivative of Greek, but French is a derivative of Latin. And when you look, Russian letters look more like Greek alphabet than Spanish letters. Spanish letters look more like common English alphabet than they do like Greek alphabet. See, we use the same letter system with slightly different drawn on the vowel system. So all these things is just being done to keep us under their thumb.
Right. Right. Hey, everybody get up out here, Roy. It's 10 o'clock right now, bro. So I know you got to roll out. Hey, y'all, like I said, we got some ballers on here. We got about 1,600 people right now. I can see it was probably more than that. But everybody said Chief $5. If you can't send them $5, send them $1. Now, if you a guy that got it in this time of need, send them 100. Put them in the game till the next time we come back, man. All right, y'all. So, hey, shout out to everybody that did the super chat. We wanted to just bring you something. The main thing was about that CQV trust, right?
The CQV trust.
Yeah, that was the main thing because that is a part of the rocking us asleep, and then we waking up out of this since the 1966, right? You know the 666, 1666, right? When they set this all thing up, right? Dealing with the Mamba, the Beast, all it. So. Yeah, that was the main part of it. So, hey, we appreciate you, Chief, for coming out and kicking that for us. I'm going to do an AI on this QV Trust thing, go more into it. Try to have that out by Sunday. So, y'all, peace and love. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button before y'all get out of here, man. Love y'all. Free Master Teacher, Dr. Malachi York, Free Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford, H. Rap Brown, Rashard Jamal, who else? A whole bunch. All of our political prisoners, man. And shout out to the matriarchs who's standing up and taking a position back on the land. So we about to get up out of here, man. And hey, all right, Chief. We'll be back. Wadu.